Declaring champ of the third. Reset your coaches and pros. The X's and O's. This is the best. What we do, what we know. So let's go. Yo, what's up? What's up with my people? What's up, y'all? What's going on, man? Make sure that you hit that like, share, subscribe button. Hit the notification bell too, y'all. For y'all can make sure y'all got all the updates on my videos when I do drop one. Super busy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my baby girl softball game. You know what I'm saying? Had one Saturday morning. Shout out to my son. Had his football game Saturday. My son, he gonna have my oldest. He have his football game on Friday nights. So they all got sports. Shout out to all my babies, man. Love all of y'all, man. Y'all make sure that y'all support the boy, man. That's all I'm saying. You dig? Yo, college football. As you can see, Texas Tech and Utah, man, they played, man. They had a game. I probably personally would have took Utah in this game. I'm not even going to sit here and lie and say that. I think Texas Tech was the underdog, though. So I was thinking about taking them in the points in this particular game. However, I mean, I guess you could sit here and say now, like, oh, well, you can sit here and say now that you would have probably took them in that game. But, you know, speaking up on this game right now, I don't know. But, Texas Tech wound up beating Utah really bad. I mean, and look, this is a preview of possibly the Big 12 championship game. There's teams that are playing very well. Shout out to Baylor in Arizona State. They battled. That was a very good game, man. It really was. Baylor, and we probably going to talk about that game actually here in a minute. So I ain't even going to really speak up on that. But the Big 12 got some good football. They got some good quarterback play going on. And I really like Devin Dampier in this particular game. That's probably why I was leaning towards Utah. It was a defensive battle of game. You can't sit here and say that game was not a defensive battle of game. I mean, for crying out loud, they didn't score until the fourth quarter in that game. You know what I'm saying? Is when it got out of hand. So if you really watch the game, it really was a good defensive battle. I mean, Devin Dampier, he threw 2 interceptions in the game. He was 25 for 38, 162 yards. He didn't have a touchdown and 2 picks. I don't want to say that lost in the game, though. I do not necessarily want to sit here and say that lost in the game, because if you look at Texas Tech and Brendan Morton, he also threw 2 interceptions. He was 12 for 19, 142 yards and no touchdown. Will Hammond came in and he was 3 for 16, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? So you say you put it how you want to put it. I mean, that's just how that game turned out to be. Now, as a team rushing, Texas Tech had 173 yards. As a team rushing, Utah had 101 yards. Their leading rusher had 37 yards, and that was Nakari Rogers, number 21 for them. Cameron Dickey was the leading rusher for Texas Tech. He had 13 carries, 67 yards in that game. And look, I'm just trying to get y'all quick stats, and I'm pretty sure y'all already know about the stats, but when you looked at that game, it was just a great defensive battle of game. It was a brawl, man. It just was. I mean, the turnovers cost. At the end of the day, I can't even say the turnovers cost in this game. It just seemed like, to be honest, just to try to sum it up in a little bit of words, for me, it was like Texas Tech had more in the gas tank than Utah at the end, right? You know, and that's pretty much what you could say there, because the game was it was fantastic. Shout out to Jacob Rodriguez, number 10. He had 11 total tackles for Texas Tech. If y'all know Rodriguez from last year, he was going to do this, man. Linebacker, played really well. He was always around the ball. He was a big factor for Texas Tech last year. He stepped up this year to become a leader in the middle of that defense. They're looking great right now. Utah, the Utes, their leading tackler was Nate Ritchie, number 6. He had 13 total tackles, 10 solos, 2 tackles for a loss, 2.5 tackles for a loss. But everybody was getting towards tackles for a loss yesterday for Utah. I mean, you had everybody. You had John Daly, he had a tackle for a loss. Smith Snowden, he was getting busy yesterday. Tyo Johnson had a tackle for a loss. Jackson Benny had a tackle for a loss. Jonathan Hall had a tackle for a loss. But that's because Texas Tech, with those trying to get the ball out quick, you know what I mean? Those little quick wide receiver screens, and they was all over that. They was all over that, and they wasn't trying to let them get no yardage off of that. I thought it was a great game, man. Shout out to both teams. And I mean, everybody's going to be wrong out here. Nobody's really right when it comes down to evaluating these games. There's no right or wrong way to really do this and to say that somebody's right or wrong, right? Because a lot of the professionals probably was taking Utah. They were at home. College atmospheres have a lot to do with it, but it looks like Texas Tech, them spending the money they spent on their roster throughout the transfer portal has came to fruition, and everything that they did was correct out there. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke what they did, what they done, what they built. They got their money's worth out of it. It's looking that way so far up and going to week 5, right? It's looking that way. Sum it up. I mean, Texas Tech had 14 drives. Utah had 15 total drives. Utah was starting further back, their own 27. Texas Tech was starting from like their own 38. I mean, each its own with that. You can say whatever you want to say with that. You know what I'm saying? Coming up with that, just trying to give a little bit more context into the stats and how this game played out. Have you not seen it or you watched it? Defensively, the Havoc's plays created by Texas Tech. I mean, they had 12 of them. That was accounted for like 16% of their offense. I mean, you look at Utah, the Utes, they had 14 Havoc plays created. That was 19% of their defense. I mean, look, other plays. So they both were getting after the ball. I mean, you cannot sit here and say that they were not, man. And Texas Tech outrushed Utah. They passed, they beat them offensively on the board, but Utah's defense they did come to play. It looked like they didn't have enough. They just didn't have enough in the gas tank when it came down to it. Does it make me look at Devin Dampier any different? I think I will say this. You can't get his I don't think he needs to throw for 42 times in a game. I will say that. I think you need to keep him somewhere in that. I think you want to keep him somewhere 30 to max. You know what I mean? Even getting in the game like that, they put a lot on him in this game to win this game. And they just didn't have it at the end. I mean, in the fourth quarter, you come back and you put up 24 points in the fourth quarter. That's amazing by Texas Tech, and also shows resiliency. But I mean, Utah just didn't miss a beat in this game, but they did trample all over the Utes. So you got to give it to Texas Tech. Shout out to them. Because they did what they did, man. Moving on to the next game, man. I got another one on the slot. That's right. Clemson got